All right, so today we're diving into something that's probably a little more relevant to your business than you might think at first.
Yeah.
Marine insurance.
Hmm.
And I know it sounds like something just for, people who work on ships or something, but it's
Ah.
actually a lot broader than that.
Yeah, it really is. It's fascinating. Actually, we're not just talking about boats when we say marine insurance.
Right.
It actually covers goods in transit,
Okay.
whether they're moving by land, sea, or air.
Huh.
So, yeah, those shipments you're sending out on trucks,
Yeah.
those can be covered too.
Wow. So it's really like a safety net for your whole supply chain.
Exactly.
So I was reading through some sources on this, and honestly, like, some of the risks are straight out of a movie.
Right.
We're talking collisions, storms, even piracy.
Yeah,
Like, how often does this stuff really happen?
you'd be surprised, actually. It happens more often than you might think.
Really?
Yeah. Remember that cargo ship that got caught in that massive storm off the coast of Nigeria last year?
No.
Containers were literally toppling overboard.
Oh, man, that was crazy.
It was wild.
Yeah.
And that's just one example. But the
Right.
point is, these disruptions
Right.
didn't have a major impact on your business, on your bottom line.
Yeah, for sure. So thinking about our listener then, who really needs to be paying attention to this?
Wow.
Is it just these huge companies that are shipping, massive containers overseas or?
No, not at all. It's
I-
it's really for anyone
Okay.
who's involved in the movement of goods.
Okay,
Whether you're a
yeah.
small business sending out packages or a large importer dealing with international shipments,
Right.
anyone involved in the movement of goods should consider marine insurance.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because think about it, if something happens to your goods in transit,
Yeah.
you could be facing significant financial losses.
Right.
Marine insurance helps mitigate that risk.
Okay. Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. I have to admit, when I was first looking into this, like, I was a little overwhelmed by
Sure.
all the different types of coverage.
Right.
What are like the key distinctions here?
Well, there are three main types:
Okay.
cargo insurance, hull insurance, and liability insurance.
Okay.
Cargo insurance is probably the most relevant to most people.
Okay.
It's designed to protect the actual goods themselves
Okay.
from things like damage, theft, or loss during transit.
So if like a truck carrying my goods gets into an accident
Exactly.
and the products are damaged,
Yep,
cargo insurance would cover that.
precisely.
Okay.
Now, hull insurance is more specific to the vessels themselves,
Okay.
like ships or boats.
Gotcha.
It covers damage to the vessel itself. So that might not be as relevant unless you're in the
Right.
business of owning and operating ships.
Right. So probably not something our listener needs to worry about too much.
Probably not.
What about liability insurance?
That's an important one.
Okay.
Liability insurance protects you if your cargo causes damage to someone else's property
Oh, okay.
or results in injuries.
Gotcha.
So let's say your shipment is improperly loaded and it falls off a truck and damages another vehicle.
Right.
Liability insurance would help cover the costs of those damages.
So it's not just about protecting my own goods then. It's
Right.
about protecting myself
Exactly.
from potential lawsuits or whatever.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now imagine you're constantly shipping goods.
Yeah.
Maybe you're sending out multiple shipments every week.
Right.
It wouldn't be very efficient or cost-effective to buy separate insurance
Oh, yeah. That sounds like a nightmare.
for every single shipment, right?
Yeah.
That's where open cover comes in.
Okay.
It's essentially a blanket policy that covers multiple shipments over a period of time.
Oh, okay.
So instead of individual policies for each shipment,
Right.
you have one policy that automatically covers your regular shipments.
I'm starting to see why that would be appealing.
Yeah,
Can you give me an idea of like how much money someone could save by doing that?
sure. Let's say you ship goods worth $50,000 each week.
Okay.
If you were to buy individual policies for each shipment, you might end up paying a premium of, say, 1% of the value
Okay.
each time.
Good.
That's $500 per week
Wow.
on insurance alone.
Yeah.
With open cover, you might negotiate a lower rate, maybe 0.75%,
Okay.
and only pay that premium once for set period like a year.
Right.
Suddenly you're looking at significant savings.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So open cover could be a real game changer for businesses that are shipping frequently.
Absolutely.
I'm curious though, in a real world scenario, how does this actually play out?
Well, let me tell you about that incident in Nigeria we mentioned earlier.
Okay.
That company was importing goods worth a staggering euro 200 million from China.
Wow.
Everything was going smoothly until their cargo ship got caught in that massive storm.
Whoa.
Containers were literally falling into the ocean.
Oh my God.
It was a disaster. It was a disaster.
Okay, so this is where things get real.
Yeah.
We've got millions of dollars worth of goods, a raging storm, containers are going overboard. What happened next?
Well, without marine insurance,
Yeah.
this company would have been facing a total loss.
Wow.
They would have been wiped out.
Really?
But fortunately, they had the foresight to get cargo insurance.
Oh, okay, so they were covered.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a relief.
The insurance company stepped in
Yeah.
and compensated them fully for the lost cargo.
Wow. So they were able to like fully recover
They were.
from that.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have made headlines otherwise.
Right.
But it just goes to show how crucial insurance can be.
Yeah.
They were able to recover and continue operating, all
Wow.
thanks to that safety net.
Talk about dodging a bullet.
Yeah.
That really drives home the point that this isn't just some abstract concept. This is like the difference between a business surviving or going under.
It really is.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
It's a real-world buffer against the unexpected.
Yeah, for sure. And we've talked about storms and accidents.
Yeah.
But what about those what-if scenarios?
Right.
Like what happens if a shipment gets caught up in some kind of political upheaval?
Or like new trade restrictions pop up out of nowhere.
You're absolutely right. The world feels pretty volatile these days.
Yeah,
I can imagine those events throwing a wrench in the works.
for sure.
Yeah.
And are those the kinds of things that like standard marine insurance policies would cover?
Well, they might not.
Oh, okay.
Think of it this way.
Yeah.
Basic coverage is like having an umbrella for rain.
Okay.
But what happens when a hailstorm hits?
Right.
You need something more robust.
So what are the options then in those less predictable scenarios? Do you just have to kind of cross your fingers and hope for the best?
Well, not necessarily. There are specialized types of coverage that are designed to deal with things like political risks,
Okay.
trade embargoes,
Uh-huh.
even events like war and terrorism.
So this is like insurance for the really wild stuff that
Exactly.
you hope never happens, but
You want to be prepared for.
you want to be prepared for just in case.
Exactly. And sometimes it's not even about like a major global event.
What if there's a sudden change in regulations in a country you're importing from?
Right.
Or maybe a key supplier gets hit with sanctions.
Wait, sanctions? I'm not sure I fully understand what that means in this context.
So think of sanctions as penalties that are imposed by one country on another,
Okay.
often targeting specific industries or businesses.
Right.
They could restrict trade freeze assets or make it really difficult to do business with certain entities.
Gotcha.
So if one of your suppliers is hit with sanctions, it could disrupt your whole supply chain.
Okay. Yeah, that's a scary thought. It sounds like staying informed is a big part of managing risk effectively.
Absolutely.
But how do you even begin to keep track of all these potential threats?
Well, there are resources out there that can help.
Okay.
There are specialized risk assessment firms
Okay.
that can help you identify and analyze those potential threats.
Gotcha.
And some insurance providers actually offer consulting services to help guide you through that process.
So there are experts I can turn to for help.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of good old-fashioned research.
Right.
There are online resources, industry publications
Yeah.
that can help you stay up to date on global trends and emerging risks.
So it sounds like a combination of proactive research, expert advice, and having the right insurance coverage
Is key.
is key.
You got it.
Okay.
It's all about building a multi-layered approach to risk management.
Right.
You can't eliminate all risk,
Yeah.
but you can significantly reduce your exposure and protect your business from the unexpected.
Okay, so let's say our listener has done their homework. They
Okay.
understand their risks.
Right.
And they're ready to get covered.
Okay.
What advice would you give them on actually finding the right insurance provider? I imagine it's not as simple as just picking a name out of a hat.
No, you're absolutely right. Choosing the right insurance provider is crucial.
Okay.
You're essentially entrusting them with your business's financial security.
Right.
So you need to be confident in their expertise and reliability.
So where do they even begin? Are there specific things they should be looking for?
Well, first and foremost, do your research.
Okay.
Don't just go with the first provider you come across.
Right.
Take the time to compare different options. Read reviews.
Yeah?
Talk to other businesses in your industry.
It's like shopping for anything else, really.
Exactly.
You want to make sure you're getting the best value, the right fit for your needs.
Exactly.
Right.
Look for providers with a strong track record in marine insurance.
Okay.
Ideally with experience in your specific industry.
Right.
You want someone who understands the nuances of your business and the particular risks you face.
It sounds like specialized knowledge is really key here.
It is.
You wouldn't want a provider who's great at insuring cars,
Right.
trying to handle, a complex international shipping operation.
Exactly. You need a provider who speaks your language,
Right.
who understands the intricacies of global trade,
Uh-huh.
and who can offer tailored solutions
Right.
that meet your specific needs.
So it's not just about finding the cheapest option.
No.
It's about finding the provider that's the best fit
Absolutely.
for my business.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
Clarify any doubts that you have.
Yeah.
Make sure you understand the policy terms and conditions before you commit.
Makes sense. Transparency is key
Absolutely.
in any business relationship.
Especially when it comes to something as important as insurance.
Yeah, for sure.
A good insurance provider should be a partner, not just a vendor.
Right.
They should be invested in your success and committed to providing you with the guidance and support you need to manage your risks effectively.
That sounds like the kind of relationship you want to have.
It is.
Especially when you're dealing with something as potentially complex as marine insurance.
Absolutely. So don't be afraid to shop around.
Right.
Ask for recommendation and do your due diligence.
Okay.
Finding the right insurance provider can make all the difference in your business's peace of mind and financial security.
Okay, so wrapping things up then, what's the one key takeaway you want to leave our listener with today?
Well, if I could distill it down to one essential point, it
Okay.
would be this. Don't underestimate the importance of risk management in today's world.
Okay.
It's not just about insurance.
Right.
It's about having a comprehensive understanding of the potential threats to your business
Yeah.
and taking proactive steps to mitigate those risks.
And marine insurance is a critical component of that broader risk management strategy.
It is.
Especially for businesses involved in the movement of goods.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
a financial safety net,
Yeah.
a strategic tool, and a source of peace of mind in an often unpredictable world.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into marine insurance.
Okay.
We hope you found this exploration insightful and informative.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world of knowledge that surrounds us. It's funny, when I think about insurance, I usually picture things like, car insurance
Yeah.
or health insurance, like very personal everyday stuff. But this feels so much bigger.
Yeah.
It's like insurance for the entire global trade system.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It really is the backbone of international commerce.
Wow.
It provides that essential layer of protection that allows businesses to operate with confidence, even in a world that's, increasingly complex and unpredictable.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of running smoothly, are there any recent developments or trends in marine insurance that our listeners should know about?
Well, that's a good question. The marine insurance industry is constantly evolving, just like the world of trade itself.
Right.
One of the most significant trends right now is the increasing use of technology,
Okay.
particularly in areas like risk assessment and claims processing.
So instead of relying on traditional methods, insurers are using data and analytics to get a more accurate picture of the risks.
Exactly. They're leveraging things like satellite imagery, weather data, and even artificial intelligence
Wow.
to predict potential disruptions and assess risk more effectively.
So it's like they're using all this data to get ahead of the game and offer more tailored coverage.
Exactly.
Wow, that sounds like it could be a real game changer for businesses.
It is.
Especially those dealing with really complex supply chains.
Absolutely. It's all about making insurance more efficient, more transparent, and more responsive to the needs of modern businesses.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what's the one final thought you want to leave our listener with?
I would say this. In the world of imports, exports, and moving goods,
Yeah.
knowledge is your most powerful asset. The more you understand about the risks you face, the better equipped you'll be to protect your business
Right.
and ensure its long-term success.
So it's not just about getting insurance, it's about understanding why you need it.
Exactly.
What kind of coverage is right for you
Well-
and who to partner with to actually make it all happen.
Absolutely. It's about taking a proactive, informed approach to risk management and viewing insurance as a strategic tool, not just a box to check off.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into marine insurance. We hope you found this exploration insightful and informative.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you.
And to our listener, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep into the world of knowledge. After all, the more you know, the better prepared you'll be to navigate the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.